be me. 28, floating through life without much direction. I grew up in a middle-class family. My dad was a mechanic, hands always stained with grease, working long hours to make sure bills were paid. My mum worked as a school secretary, practical and frugal to a fault. They drilled into me the idea of saving every penny, buying second-hand, never expecting life to hand you anything, and I hated it. All through my teenage years, I swore I wouldn't end up like them, scraping by, budgeting groceries, talking about someday vacations that never happened. At uni, I studied communications. Honestly, it was the path of least resistance. I wasn't passionate about it. I just wanted the degree so no one could say I didn't try. Uni was more about the lifestyle. Nights out, flings, living like I had money, even though I didn't. I dated the fun guys, the reckless ones with sports cars and student loans maxed out. They'd splash cash on drinks and weekends away, but when the money dried up, so did the relationship. By 28, most of my friends had careers, apartments, even wedding plans. Meanwhile, I was working office jobs, here and there, but never anything stable. I wanted more, not just love, but security. Comfort. The kind of life where I wouldn't need to check my bank balance before ordering takeout. So when I met Peter, I didn't think much of him at first. It was at my friend's housewarming. Everyone else was loud, showing off, flashy watches, loud stories, desperate to be noticed. Peter was different. He wore a plain button-up shirt, neat but simple, and sat off to the side with a drink. He wasn't trying to dominate the room. To me, he was just another quiet guy. I barely gave him a glance. Then my friend, Carla, leaned in and whispered in my ear, "That's Peter. His family owns property and a couple businesses. Old money. He's seriously loaded, but he never brags about it." I remember my ears pricking up instantly. Suddenly, the quiet guy I'd overlooked all evening wasn't so invisible anymore. That was the moment my interest switched on like a light. I made my move. Up until then, I hadn't given him the time of day, but now I walked over, smile on my face like I'd been curious all along. "Hey, I haven't seen you at one of these before." Peter looked a little surprised, but he was polite. He had this calm, steady way of speaking. He wasn't trying to impress me, he was just genuine. He asked me questions, actually listened to my answers, remembered the little things. He didn't flirt the way other guys did. No cheesy lines, no over-the-top compliments. He just paid attention, and honestly, that was new for me. Over the next few weeks, he started making small moves, inviting me to coffee, suggesting we grab dinner. Nothing extravagant, just normal. But I didn't mind. In my head, I told myself, he's saving the big gestures for later. Once I'm in, once I'm his, that's when the real money will show. We started dating. He wasn't the type to take me on expensive trips or shower me with gifts. Dates were simple, movie nights, casual dinners, walks on Sunday mornings. At first, I was frustrated. I wanted the glamorous lifestyle I thought came with a wealthy man. But then, I remembered Carla's whisper, "He's loaded, but he never brags." So I convinced myself, this is just his way. He's humble. The money's there. It's just waiting. A year went by like that. He was reliable, steady, never dramatic. Honestly, sometimes a little boring. But after all the chaos of my past flings, boring started to feel like exactly what I needed. Then he proposed. It wasn't some grand event. Just us, dinner at home, him down on one knee with a modest diamond ring. Not massive, but tasteful. I said yes without hesitation. Not because I was swept away in love, but because I thought I'd just secured my future. Then came the folder. A week before the wedding, Peter sat me down at his dining table. He had this neat stack of papers, heavy with legal wording. These are just standard things the lawyers put together before the marriage. Registration, protections, all the usual stuff. It's important for my family's side of things. Nothing that changes how we live day to day. I skimmed the first page. Dense legal jargon. Marital property. Separate assets. Distribution of holdings. I barely understood it. Half joking, I asked, "You're not making me sign my life away, right?" Peter gave me that small, reassuring smile of his. "Of course not. It's just procedure. My family's lawyers are strict about these things. It's nothing to worry about." He didn't pressure me. He didn't trick me. Looking back, I probably should have slowed down, asked more questions, actually read what I was signing. But I didn't. In that moment, all I cared about was the ring on my finger, the wedding around the corner, the life I was stepping into. I wasn't worried about paperwork or fine print. Why would I be? I thought I was walking into the kind of future I'd always dreamed of. At the time, all I thought was, finally, I've made it. Not too long later, I was newly married, ring on my finger, feeling like I finally leveled up. The first few months of marriage were comfortable. That's the word I keep coming back to. We moved into a nice townhouse just outside the city. Modern, clean, plenty of space. Not a mansion, but definitely a step up from the shoebox apartments I used to rent. Peter covered everything. Mortgage, bills, groceries. He never once asked me for money. At first, I told myself I'd keep working. But honestly, why bother? My office job barely covered rent when I was single, and now I didn't need it. So I quit. Peter never questioned it. He just kept doing what he always did, working long hours for his family's property business. His dad had started buying up small apartment complexes years ago, and by the time we got married, Peter was running a big chunk of the operations. Leasing, tenant issues, contracts, renovations. He handled all of it. It wasn't flashy work, but it was steady. I'd hear him on late-night calls, talking calmly about repair quotes, property sales, new tenants moving in. He knew the details of every building, every unit. I barely paid attention, but I knew it made money. A lot of it. His family trusted him to keep things running, and he never complained. He worked hard, but he never flaunted it. No sports car, no fancy suits, no big watch. Just a reliable income and a quiet routine that kept our life stable. And me? I enjoyed the stability without lifting a finger. That's when my days shifted. Pilates in the mornings, coffee dates with Carla or Jasmine in the afternoons, scrolling shopping apps at night. My big decisions were what shade to do my nails or whether to splurge on a new pair of shoes. Peter never complained. He just kept working. Long hours, always in his modest suit, always coming home tired but smiling. Sometimes he'd come through the door and say, "Hey, how was your day?" I'd shrug from the couch, half watching a Netflix series. Fine. Went out with Carla. We tried that new place downtown. His eyes would light up, genuine interest. "Oh, was it good? We should go together sometime." I'd nod, already scrolling my phone. "Yeah, maybe." And that was it. He always tried to connect, always asked, always listened. And me? I barely gave him more than the surface-level answers. One night, he came home late carrying takeout. I remember he looked exhausted, his tie loosened, hair messy, but he still smiled and held out the bag. "I thought you'd be hungry." "Got your favorite noodles. I didn't even look up from my laptop." "Oh, thanks. Just put it on the table." He set it down, sat across from me, and asked, "Did you get a chance to look at that garden furniture catalog I left?" "Thought maybe we could pick something together this weekend." I sighed. "I don't know, Peter. I've had a long day. Can we not do this right now?" His face fell for just a second. Not angry, just disappointed. Then he smiled again, softer this time. "Sure, no rush. We'll figure it out." That was Peter. Always patient. Always kind. Even when I brushed him off. But the truth, I wasn't doing anything for him. I didn't cook, didn't clean, didn't plan dates. My contributions were looking nice when we went out together and posting cute couple photos online. He gave, and I just took. And the more I had, the more I wanted. Because when I met up with my friends, I saw what they had. Carla was dating some finance guy who surprised her with weekend getaways. Jasmine's tech husband bought her a new SUV, just because. Over brunch, they'd gush about designer bags and new jewelry, and then glance at me with this fake sympathetic smile. Carla leaned in once, stirring her latte with a grin. "So, Peter's family money is supposed to be old money, right? Why don't you two live like it? He's got to be hiding something." I laughed awkwardly, but inside it stung. Another time, Jasmine smirked as she showed off a new bracelet. "Girl, if my man had family businesses, I wouldn't be letting him get away with driving a Toyota." No offense. They always said it like a joke, but the message was clear. I was settling, so I started to believe it. Maybe Peter was holding back. Maybe he was saving the real lifestyle until later. Or maybe he just didn't think I deserved it. Peter would come home, make small talk, try to plan little things for us, and I'd nod, half listen, barely engaged. Meanwhile, my friends were in my ear reminding me I could have more. Carla once even said outright, honestly, if you wanted out, you'd be set. Divorce laws, prenups, or not, you'd still get your cut. Don't you ever think about it? I laughed it off at the time, but it planted a seed. Peter thought he was giving me the life I always dreamed of. And in some ways, he was. But the longer it went on, the more I started to see him not as a husband, but as a bank account I wasn't cashing in on yet. Restless, irritated, constantly comparing my life to Carla's and Jasmine's. One Thursday, I texted both of them. Lunch this weekend. My treat, I told myself it was casual. But really? I had something on my mind. I wanted to see what they'd say if I hinted at it. We met at our usual wine bar. They were already there when I arrived, laughing about some new trip Carla's finance guy had just booked for her. I smiled, ordered a drink, and let them talk. Then, after a while, I sighed dramatically and stirred my glass. Do you ever feel like you're not living the life you thought you'd have? Like, maybe you settled? Carla immediately perked up, exchanging a look with Jasmine. This about Peter? I shrugged, pretending to be coy. He's fine, sweet, reliable. But sometimes I wonder if this is it. Like, where's the lifestyle? Where's the part where we actually enjoy the money? Jasmine smirked, leaning back. Girl, we've been saying it. You're sitting on gold and acting broke. Carla nodded, lowering her voice. I actually looked into it, did a little digging. Peter's tied to multiple companies under his family's property group. We're talking serious money, buildings, contracts, the works. It's not just comfort money, it's millions. And if you walked away now, you'd get your share. Easy Jasmine chimed in, almost gleeful. Exactly. You wouldn't just land on your feet, you'd land in a penthouse. No more Toyota life. You'd finally be living like his kind of wife is supposed to. They both laughed. I didn't, because suddenly it didn't feel like a joke anymore. That night, Peter was holed up in his office again, on a call about a tenant dispute. I sat in bed with my laptop, scrolling through articles about divorce settlements. Woman after woman walking away with half, with houses, with alimony checks that would last for years. The more I read, the more I convinced myself this wasn't betrayal. This was strategy. A few days later, I went to see a lawyer. Apparently she was known for helping women get what they deserved in marriage court. She was a proper women's rights advocate herself. I pretended it was hypothetical, like I was asking for a friend, but the lawyer saw straight through me. Married for over a year, husband with family property wealth, you not working. Even with a prenup, you'd have a case. At minimum, strong alimony. Possibly more, depending on how the assets are structured. You're in a very favorable position. I walked out of that office, buzzing. It was all falling into place, so one night, when Peter got home, I decided it was time. We were sitting on the couch after dinner. He was scrolling through emails, tired, but still asking me little questions about my day. I interrupted him. Peter, I think I want a divorce. His phone froze in his hand. He turned to me, stunned. A divorce? Where's this coming from? I crossed my arms, defensive. I don't think we want the same things anymore. You're always working, and I feel like we're stuck. I don't want to waste my best years like this. He set his phone down slowly and shifted closer, his brows drawn. His voice was steady, but his eyes looked wet. Stuck? I've been working for us, for our future. Every long night, every deal. It's because I wanted us to have security, kids, a home, stability. I thought that's what you wanted too. I looked away, jaw tight. Maybe I want something different now. Maybe I don't want to wait for someday. Peter exhaled, rubbing his forehead, then tried again, softer. Tell me what it is you think you're missing. Is it time with me? Vacations? Do you want me to ease up at work? Just tell me, and I'll figure it out. I don't want to lose you over this. I shook my head, bitterness in my voice. It's not just about time, Peter. Look around. Carla's boyfriend takes her on surprise trips. Jasmine's husband just bought her a new car for no reason. And me? I've got a Toyota parked outside and dinners at mid-tier restaurants while you hide behind your laptop. Don't you see the difference? He blinked at me, hurt written all over his face. So, it's about money. About what other people have? I thought we were building something real, not just competing with your friends. I folded my arms tighter, digging in. It's about not feeling like I'm settling. I want more than this, and if you can't give it to me, then maybe we're not right together. Peter swallowed hard, his voice breaking slightly as he reached out, sliding his arm around my shoulders. His hand squeezed gently, like he was trying to anchor me. Do you remember when we first started dating? How you laughed at my dumb jokes on our coffee walks? I thought we had more time before we'd hit a wall like this. For a second, I almost cracked. Almost. But then I remembered Carla's smirk, Jasmine's bracelet, the lawyer's words. You're in a favorable position. I pulled away, cold. I've thought about it, Peter. I want out. His face crumpled just slightly. Not anger, not rage, just heartbreak. He nodded once, his jaw tight. If that's what you want, I won't stop you. And just like that, it was decided. He thought I was walking away from him, but in my head, I was walking toward the life I deserved. The money, the freedom, the proof I hadn't wasted my 20s chasing nothing. I went to bed that night smiling to myself, already imagining what I'd spend first. A week after I told Peter I wanted a divorce, the paperwork was moving. It all felt so smooth, so easy, like the universe was lining it up for me. Carla and Jasmine were my hype squad. Over cocktails, they kept saying things like, "This is the best decision you'll ever make. Imagine the settlement check. You'll never work again." I soaked it up. I even started browsing apartments in high-rise towers, picturing myself sipping champagne on a balcony overlooking the city. In my head, I was already divorced and living the dream. The day of the first hearing, I walked into court wearing my best outfit, tailored dress, heels that clicked across the floor like I owned the place. I wanted everyone to see me as the powerful soon-to-be ex-wife, ready to collect what I was owed. Peter was already there. He wore his usual suit, nothing flashy. He wasn't smug, wasn't angry, just quiet. He gave me a small nod when our eyes met, like he still respected me even now. It irritated me. I wanted him broken, begging. Instead, he just sat beside his lawyers, calm as ever. When the judge opened proceedings, my lawyer went first. He painted the picture I wanted. Devoted wife who gave up her career, supported her husband, deserved half his wealth for the sacrifices she made. I almost smiled. Everything was going exactly as I pictured. Then it was Peter's lawyer's turn. He slid a folder onto the table and spoke clearly. Your Honor, the prenup signed prior to this marriage lays out specific terms. My client's assets, both current and future, remain his separate property. The agreement is clear, valid, and enforceable. I blinked. My stomach flipped. Prenup? The lawyer pulled out the document, flipping to the last page. And there it was. My signature. I felt heat rush to my face. I remembered that night at Peter's dining table. The folder, the papers, his calm reassurance, my careless signature. My lawyer shuffled through the pages, trying to argue. Your Honor, she didn't fully understand what she signed. The judge cut in, unimpressed. The language is plain. She signed. This document holds. My mouth went dry. Peter's lawyer kept going, methodical. He laid out how Peter's wealth was structured, the properties were held in trusts, the businesses under LLCS he managed but didn't personally own. All airtight. Nothing I could touch. Every sentence felt like a door slamming shut in my face. I glanced at Peter, desperate to see something. Guilt, fear, regret. But he just sat there, calm, hands folded, not gloating, not smug, just sad. Like he was watching something die. By the time it was over, the ruling was clear. I wasn't walking away with millions. Not half. Not even close. At best, a short-term support allowance. Barely enough to cover the wine tabs Carla and Jasmine dragged me to every weekend. When the judge read the decision, Carla squeezed my hand from the row behind me, whispering, "Appeal." We'll appeal. But even I knew it was over. As we left, I caught Peter's eye one last time. He gave me a small, polite nod. No anger, no triumph, just quiet disappointment. And in that moment, I realized I hadn't just lost the money, I'd lost the one person who had always been steady, patient, and kind to me. But it was too late. Fast forward a couple of years, and I'm in my 30s now. Dating is harder. Men my age either want someone younger, or they see me as baggage. Nobody looks at me the way Peter did. Carla and Jasmine, they've moved on. wrapped up in their own lives. Our brunches faded away once I couldn't keep up. Turns out, appeals cost money I didn't have, and the court wasn't on my side. I thought being the wife meant automatic half. Nobody told me prenups actually held up, or that the law could lean in the husband's favor when he came prepared. Sometimes, late at night, I still think about Peter. About the townhouse, the quiet dinners, the way he'd bring home noodles after a long day. At the time, I thought it was small. Now, I realize it was everything, and I gave it all up, chasing something that was never mine to begin with.